Hey guys, so recently I went to another city in my state that's a little far away, and I went to a total of 4 Targets. Now, fun fact, I actually went to this city to pick up another phone that you're going to probably see in the video after this one, so just a little foreshadowing there, but that's beside the point. So, yeah, this trip wasn't nearly as good, at least Targetman-wise, as a lot of my previous trips, but for just going to 4 Targets, I still think I found quite a few things, so... I'll just go through the phones and then I'll just go. I found quite a few tablets too, so I'll go through the tablets last. So let's just start with the worst finds and then work our way up, of course. The worst find was this LG Lucky. I have no clue if this works. I'm just going to be honest with you. I just really want to get this video out and I'm kind of on a time constraint, so a lot of these like crappier phones, I haven't even tested them, but I don't really think most people care anyway. But yeah, it probably works. These phones are usually, I don't know, pretty bulletproof, but it's a crappy LG Lucky. I really don't care about those phones. Now, this one I actually do kind of care about, and only because this is a Galaxy Ace style, and this was actually my first ever Android phone. So, and I'm pretty sure I still have my original one, but it's missing the battery. I don't know what happened to it, but this one does have a battery, so I'm probably just going to throw the battery from this one into the one I had. But otherwise, I have no clue if it works. I don't really care much either. Here's a Galaxy S4, same situation. I don't know if it works or not. I don't think the AMOLED looks broken, so it probably does, but who knows. This is another one of the... Oh, what the hell is this thing actually? It has like a B on it. Whatever it is, it's in like awful shape. No, it has micro USB. So this phone's probably just garbage. This is a Fox phone. Was that AI camera? Yeah, I'm sure that camera is great AI, alright. Again, I don't know. It looks like a complete garbage phone. This phone actually kind of interested me a little bit. It's a Vortex phone that kind of looks like a Galaxy A series, but I plugged this one in. This one I actually did plug in, but it showed no signs of life. Granted, I left it plugged in for like a minute or two, but still. These phones go by so many names. This is, I think, like an LG K7. I'm just going to call it that because I know these things have so many names. I really, who cares, really? But I didn't test this one. This is a Boost Mobile Celero 5G. I believe this is the 2024 model. I plugged this one in and it showed no signs of life, but I actually left that one plugged in for like 5 to 10 minutes and it did nothing, so I don't really care. Those phones aren't very good anyway. This is a Moto E5. I plugged this one in and it, the light started to blink, so I assume this one works. But I've found literally a million of these things. I can't be fussed to deal with it. All right, now we're actually probably getting on to stuff that I would say is worthwhile. I believe this is an LG Sunset or an LG Sunrise. I forget which one it was. I think it was a Sunset, but it also goes by the LG K30 or K30. Yeah, K30. Fun fact, me and my friend actually found one of these when we went on our road trip, but it was in really bad shape, and we just ended up smashing it eventually. And I did feel a little bad because this phone actually does seem quite nice to me. I like it even though it has micro USB. I really hate micro USB, but I felt a little bad about smashing the other one, but it was in terrible shape. Plus, it was shockingly durable actually. But I found another one, and this one's actually in really good shape. So it is. I plugged it in, and it has a passcode, so it'll become Google locked. But I'm sure the bypass can't be that hard, so maybe I'll do that eventually. Then we have a Galaxy A03s. I plugged this one in, and it has a passcode, so it'll become Google locked. I've also found a million A03s. I really can't be bothered with these phones. They're terrible. And here we have a 2021 Moto G Power. And fun fact, I actually found a 2020 Moto G Power too, but I have this one worse than this one because I think the 2021 is actually worse than the 2020. I don't know why that is, but I looked up the specs and the 2020 is actually better than the 2021, which makes utterly no sense to me, but that's how Motorola phones from those years were. They were really weird. But this one works. It actually reset, I think, did I turn it off? because I know I plugged it in and it was on the setup screen, so I assume it's been reset and it's ready to go. This one I'm not going to turn on because I haven't reset this one yet, and it has someone's face on the lock screen, but this one works. It has a passcode, so it'll become Google locked. But Motorola phones, from what I can tell, are extremely easy to bypass the Google lock on, so I'm sure it shouldn't be that difficult. Yeah, see, that's on the setup screen. I just shut it off. Next find is this iPhone 6s Plus, and as you can see, it is not iCloud locked. It was on the... Actually, no, it wasn't on the setup screen. It had no passcode, and it had an Apple ID on it. There was like nothing on this phone. It was just a bunch of photos. But it didn't have FMI on, but it had an Apple ID. So I just went into settings and reset it, and yeah, now it works fine. Let me get some info on this if I can. So it is a 64 gigabyte, and it was saying no SIM restrictions. I know it said that, but now it's saying not available. But yeah, I know it's unlocked. So yeah, I'm probably going to be selling this because I have no use for a 6S Plus at this point. And it does have an aftermarket screen, although it's not a horrible aftermarket screen. Shouldn't hurt resale value. All right. Then next up, we have this Galaxy S8 Plus. Oh, the power button's like stuck in the phone a little bit. That's weird. Here we have this Galaxy S8 Plus. It works perfectly fine as far as I can tell. It's on AT&T. So this phone wasn't reset. It had no passcode, but it had a Samsung account. So when I went into the settings to try and reset it, it wouldn't let me because it wanted me to put in the Samsung account. But I believe it's actually this phone and newer. I think the S7s can still get Samsung account locks. But I knew that the newer Samsung phones wouldn't get Samsung account locked. So what I just had to do was go in the settings and manually delete the Google account, and then just, go into the BIOS and reset it manually. And yeah, it didn't get locked or anything because I deleted the Google account, and these are too new to get Samsung account locked. So it worked out just fine. Again, it's in pretty rough shape, but it works. I don't know. I probably couldn't get much for this if I sold it, so who knows what I'll do with it. But it works. And then next up, we have a Galaxy A15. It is I think a T-Mobile model. It's in kind of rough shape. It's not cracked. It's just kind of dinged and scratched up a little bit. But this one has a passcode. And, well, it's dead now because I left it dead on purpose because, yeah, I need to reset it, and it won't let you shut the phone off if it has a passcode on it. Or, you have to enter the passcode in to reset it, which I think is kind of stupid. Or to turn it off, sorry. But from what I could tell, this phone was on, I think, One UI 7. So I don't have high hopes for bypassing this thing, but it's an A15. I already have an A15. I'm not really that fussed about it. If I did bypass this thing, I'd probably just resell it. But if it's locked to T-Mobile, probably couldn't get too much for it anyway. So I'm not really too fussed about trying to bypass that one. And then this one, we have here it's a Moto Z3. Now I know this one works. Okay, yeah, that's the power button. That's just a fingerprint scanner. Did it die? It was like half charged yesterday. But these old Motorola's are notorious for having horrible batteries, so I wouldn't be shocked if it's dead. The power button is also very weird on this phone, so... Okay, yeah, no, it just died. But yeah, this is a Moto Z3. It was reset. It works fine, except for apparently a horrible battery, but I'm not really surprised because all these Motorola's have terrible batteries. But yeah, it's on Verizon, and otherwise I think it works. Again, I don't think these phones really sell for anything, so I'll probably just keep it for collection purposes because I don't have one. But yeah, anyways, now on to what's probably the best find. Which I find funny, actually, to how these old iPhones are still good finds, really, compared to, like, these newer phones. But it's just because even in this iPhone from 2019, they just hold their resale value really well, and they get software updates. But that's beside the point. So the best find is this iPhone 11 Pro Max in gold. It's, I think, from when I looked up the IMEI, it's 64 gig. Now, it is FMI off, but as you can probably tell, the screen is just completely destroyed on it. The screen does not do anything at all. But I know it works because when I plugged it in, if you flick this switch and whatever, I can hear the phone vibrate. So I know it does work, and it is FMI off. So I do plan to replace the screen on this. Now, normally I don't really like doing that on newer iPhones because a lot could go wrong, but this thing's already in such horrible shape. And if you look at that, I highly doubt the Face ID works anyway, considering this phone's like obviously been taken apart probably many times before. I doubt the Face ID works on it to begin with, so I'm probably going to try and look for like a used like OLED screen or some cheap screen I can throw on this that's not an LCD, because LCD screens are horrible. But I might try and replace this myself, and if I can, I'll probably just keep this for my collection because it's in such terrible shape. And if the Face ID doesn't work, I'm probably not going to get much for it resale value wise, especially if it's a 64 gig. So I think, and plus I do like the 11 Pro Maxes. I think they're pretty nice phones. So if I might just fix this one up and I'll probably just keep it. But anyways, now on to the tablets, which I shockingly found a lot of. And there was one tablet in one of the bins too that it was like I didn't take. It might have just been like another Kindle or something, but it had like one of those rubber like cases that like kids have on their tablets. So I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that. But it's funny. But anyways, these tablets are in no particular order. I just kind of stacked them on top from what fit best. Here we have a Galaxy Tab. I don't know what model this is. It's on Verizon. If I had to guess, this is probably like an 8-inch. I don't think Samsung makes 9-inch tablets. I would say this is probably an 8-inch Samsung tablet of some kind. It has micro USB, so it can't be that good. But I plugged this one in and it vibrated, but it doesn't really do anything beyond that. Might try. I am a little intrigued by this one, so I might try and mess around with it a little more. But I have no idea if I'll have any success with it or not. And here we have a Fire HD 8-inch. It's a newer one because it has USB-C. Yeah, it's on a weird spot on this one, but it's one of the newer ones. It has a cracked screen, but it does work because I plugged it in and it showed the low battery sign. I left it plugged in for quite a while and it just didn't really do anything, so maybe I'll just leave it plugged in longer. Here's an original Kindle Fire. These are kind of interesting to me because these ones are pretty easy or pretty fun to mod and put custom ROMs on and stuff like that. Although there's certain models of these where you can't really do that. I don't know, but I just find these kind of interesting. So there's that. And then here we have a newer, or actually no, this one's not newer because it has micro USB. Fire HD 7. I plugged this one into and it didn't really do anything. Granted, I didn't leave it plugged in for long, but there's that. And then this is actually kind of a cool find to me. This is a Nexus 10, which these are fairly uncommon, I think. The only problem is it has like one of those rubber backs, and like the coating's starting to wear off, so it's like this. It feels awful. It's like all sticky and gross. This one I haven't tried to plug in either, but I mean, because it's a really old tablet. It's cool to me though because I was quite a fan of the Nexus 7s back in the day, but I knew they made newer Nexus tablets. I know they made this, and they even have a Nexus 9, I think, which is actually like the newest iteration of a Nexus tablet. And I think they have like a Pixel tablet now, I think, which is, I guess, technically the successor to the Nexus tablets, but they don't really seem that interesting to me. But yeah, so these are the finds that I got. Nothing really that spectacular, but they're still interesting finds nonetheless. But anyways, yeah, I hope you enjoyed.